Hi, today I'm doing a very short video on how to fix a leaky Arrowhead exterior landscaping faucet. So these faucets have a proprietary threading size. You cannot attach your normal garden hose female end into the faucet. You have to have an adapter that Arrowhead sells. It costs 30 bucks. So my project started as replacing the adapter because my hose got broken off at the adapter, and I couldn't get the adapter to unscrew from my hose. And I took the adapter off, and lo and behold, I had a continuous drip from the faucet. So if you have a continuous drip from the faucet, normally you think it's your handle has a loose bearing, or it's not closing tight anymore, or it's worn out in the handle. But these Arrowheads are special. So if you have an Arrowhead and it has a little marking on the side here, and you've had to monkey around with this the thread size converter. The thread size converter does more than just convert from their proprietary size to normal. Gee, I wonder why they set that up that way. But it does more than that, which a layman has a hard time understanding. I don't know why. Everybody else seems to understand it but me. But it's a vacuum breaker, and I don't know why the heck it's there. I do know that if you leave your hose pressurized with this vacuum breaker on, you can mess up your vacuum breaker. So if you have one of these on there, every time you finish using your hose, turn it off and depressurize it from your sprayer. Alright, enough about all the extra stuff. So before you do any of your work on your plumbing in your house, you've got to shut off your water at the street with this knob right here. So right now it's turned away from the house, and that's the water being shut off. When you're done, you turn that back towards the house and the water comes back on. To get this leak to stop, an angel on earth, a lady at Home Depot, and this is why I love Home Depot, because the employees there are so knowledgeable, and they'll help you figure out how to fix what's wrong with your house. She explained to me and you have to engage them and ask them the right questions. But after I told her about the dripping, first I was just replacing this, and she was going to just say, yeah, use that, and she was about to run off, and I said, no, I have more of a problem. My faucet's dripping. She said, oh, you have the Arrowhead, and this is a special one. So she explained it to me. You've got to unscrew this part, and it wasn't hard for me to do it, but you unscrew the handle from the body of the faucet, and you pull it out of here. Okay, so why is she an angel? Because if I didn't understand or know any of this, I would have thought I had to knock out all these bricks here and replace my handle, because I can't see anywhere else to replace the handle. So here's what she told me to do. She said, unscrew it from there, pull it out, and look at the end of it. There's going to be a worn out grommet. And you replace it with one of these. Right here. Flat washers, 1/2 inch OD. And as you can see, this is probably the original one from 1998. There is a washer on the end of it, and I'm just going to unscrew that Phillips head screwdriver holding it down. I'm going to replace it with a new washer, and then we'll see what happens if it stops the leak. How about a wrench that I can keep the pressure on a little bit better? Channel locks. There we go. Now you ain't going anywhere. Nope. Okay. And one thing you have to learn from doing is how much pressure to use when you close things off, because when you over tighten you create problems for yourself. So whenever you untighten something, kind of make a little mental note to yourself of how much pressure you used to untighten it, and that's about how much pressure you need to use when you retighten it. Boy, this washer's pretty much gone. It's like black dust. So I might go get a knife and scrape it off there. Okay, so that's pretty cleaned up. I've got a nice new fat washer, rubber washer on there. I'm going to tighten it back down. That is not tight enough with me holding it by hand. So I'm going to have to hold it in place again with the channel locks. Okay, so don't go too tight. Well, I hope this works. This is kind of interesting time. Also, you can try to understand your faucet a little bit. Like I was trying to understand. You know, right now this is closed. This is like closed, like water can't come out, right? So what happens when I turn this? Well, it has to turn. There it goes. It has to turn against that. So what's happening is, see the clean metal right there? When I turn it down, the clean metal goes in, and then it turns off. And then when I turn it up, the clean metal is coming out, so the whole thing is coming out of the wall that way. And that tells me that this is this is where the water is being opened and closed. And it makes sense now. You can't understand this stuff until you try to figure it out. So when this is opening and closing, the whole pipe comes out from some kind of water source back in there. It comes that way away, and then the water flows all around here and out there. And when you tighten it, you close it in, the washer is what is stopping it. So I'm feeling kind of positive. I'm thinking this might work. I have to figure it out. Okay. Now, there wasn't any pipe threading on here when I took it off, so I'm not going to put any on. I'm just going to tighten it back. Paying attention, like I said earlier. Do not over tighten things. Make yourself problems if you over tighten things. Alright. Just kind of go back to how it was before I loosened it. Let me give you a quick close-up of the metal nut that you have to unscrew from the faucet. See that right there? and tightening back down. Alright, let's do this. Okay, cool. This is also a nice opportunity for me to see if I can make the close position nice and level, because previously it was all up and down, and you know, when people are using this, opening it and closing it up, it's nice for them to just find that flat position because they don't know what's happening behind there. And when they're in that nice flat position, then they're like, oh, I've finished turning it, I've finished closing it. I don't need to over tighten it anymore. Alright, I like it. So it's nice and level and it's turned off. That way turns it on, this way turns it off. And I can feel now the travel, the distance, it's like the number of turns to turn it on and turn it off. It's much less travel because the additional space of the washer back there has actually pushed this thing to a different level set. Alright, keep my fingers crossed. Let's see if it works. Time to go turn the water back on. Oh, gracious. Goodness gracious. Okay, got the water back on. Let's turn it on. Let's turn it off. And hopefully the leak will be gone. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, man. That's fast. Come on. Resist the temptation to over tighten it. Oh! Oh! Well, that must have been the leftover water that was in that long tube just coming out on its own. There you go. That's how you do that one. So last thing I'm going to say for this video is, after you're done having fun, like everybody at my house does, having fun with the water, if you have the Arrowhead, make sure you turn it off and depressurize the hose.